My name is Dr. Joel Rosen. I am an adrenal fatigue recovery ninja, and I help people recover from their adrenal fatigue nightmare. Today, I want to talk to you about adrenal fatigue and stress. So, we all experience stress. Stress can be psychosocial stress, the things that we think about all the time that stress us out. So, finances and jobs and bosses and in laws and children and parents and spouses. All of those things can really stress us out. But environmentally speaking, infections can stress us out, meaning they put a stress on your system. Infections, inflammation, viruses, parasites, pesticides, chemicals, exposures to molds, Lyme disease, injuries. All of these things are stressors, physical things that you do every day. So what I want to do is I wanted to talk to you, and as we learn about genetics and MTHFR and neurotransmitters, it really all comes down to stress, because stress will do a lot of depleting of your raw material. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to you about the bioptrin pathway. And this was really about how we steal the raw materials that would otherwise go for your neurotransmitters. Things like dopamine, things like serotonin, things like adrenaline. So feeling focused and concentrated, having the energy to deal with stressors, being able to relax, being able to feel pleasure, being able to sleep, being able to do all of these things requires proper neurotransmission. And so one of the things that we need to do is we need to convert this tetrahydrobiopterin into biopterin. And there is a genetic weak link that we can have from going from one to the next. And what happens is a lot of the times we have these polymorphisms, which means we're going to have a problem with making BH4. But here's the amazing thing, is BH4 is then used as a cofactor to make these neurotransmitters. And if you're not able to make BH4, then you may not be able to make these neurotransmitters. But here's where stress comes in, because not only do you need to have BH4, you need to have these raw materials of amino acids. So if you're eating a vegan diet, or you're not eating very much protein, you're not going to have these raw materials in order to make these end products. Combined with the fact that you may not have the BH4 being recycled because of these genetic weak links. But again, here's where stress comes in. So let's say you do have these things. BH2 is being converted into BH4. Your enzymes are working well. They're not mutated. You're eating plenty enough of proteins. But then all of a sudden you have a lot of reactive oxidative species. What are those? Those are infections. Those are oxidative stress, exercising too hard, chemical exposures, pathogens, bugs, all inflammation, unsteady blood sugar. All of those things can deplete your neurotransmitters or your raw materials. Stress, inflammation, lipopolysaccharides, which is basically bacteria overgrowth. What will happen is it will steal your tryptophan, and it will go down this chi-urine pathway to make quinolinic acid. And that quinolinic acid is very excitatory. And that's why we look at the ratio of quinolinic acid to serotonin, or something called 5-HIAA. And we do that through an organic acid test. And we can tell that you basically shut down this whole pathway in favor of going over this pathway. And no matter how much science we learn, it all comes down to stress. Because if we didn't have the stress, we wouldn't have been stealing away that tryptophan in order to feed the inflammatory pathway. And that's really what's happening. And so what can we do? Well, number one, we can reduce our stress. I mean, breathing and doing things that you enjoy, and trying to put your feet on the ground while you eat at the dinner table, and trying to process information differently. Those are really important things. Eating enough protein, not too much, but typically half your body weight in pounds would be the number of grams as a rule of thumb. So if I weigh 175, then I'm going to be in the somewhere between 80 and 90 grams of protein per day. Also, I want to make sure that I am trying to just relax and trying to breathe, like I mentioned. I may want to take some 5-HTP if I am not sleeping, if I don't feel great. I definitely would not want to be taking tryptophan, because if I'm stressed out and I'm inflamed, then I'm just going to upregulate that pathway and produce more quinolinic acid. So that's a question that I probably wouldn't want to do. Potentially, I could take some tyrosine. I would want to look at your organic acid test to know if that's something that you could do. I may want to shut down my reactive oxidative species. Glutathione is really, really good. Other antioxidants can be really good for that. Resveratrol. A lot of people use ginger or shiitake mushroom or curcumin. Those are all things that could be helpful too. But anyways, I hope you found this adrenal fatigue and stress video very helpful. My name is Dr. Joel Rosen. I am an adrenal fatigue recovery ninja, and I look forward to helping you with your adrenal fatigue nightmare. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. You give me a thumbs up, a share, a like, a comment. Check my Facebook fan page out at Adrenal Fatigue Recovery, or check out my blog at adrenalfatiguesociety.com.